At the 2016 Republican National Convention, retired General Michael Flynn riled up the crowd about Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton's private email server.
Lock her up. That's right. That's right. Lock her up. I'm going to tell you what. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Oh, let's just start clapping. Let's all start clapping the chant. Lock her up also was a favorite chant of Donald Trump himself at his campaign rallies. And just as a reminder, Clinton email probe found absolutely no deliberate mishandling of classified information. But now many of the Republican leaders who supported investigations of Hillary Clinton's emails are slamming the search of Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago as politically motivated. And joining us now, John Podesta. He is the founder and board chairman of the Center for American Progress and founder of the climate advocacy group Climate Power. As I said, he chaired Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. So, John, first of all, thank you so much for joining today.
Julian, it's good to be with you.
So I want to start, before we move to the big topic of climate, by asking you what you think about how Republicans are reacting to the FBI executing a valid search warrant of Mar-a-Lago pertaining to alleged mishandling of classified materials, considering how they treated Hillary Clinton about her email server.
Well, you started to show off, I think, in the right space, which is the hypocrisy is thick. But, you know, Donald Trump famously said, if I shot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue, people would still support me. And I think what you see now with the MAGA Republican Party is that that prediction has sort of come true. There's nothing, I think, that he could do which would cause people like Kevin McCarthy to break from him. So as your previous segment and Joe Weinvoner noted, this was a warrant that was approved by an independent magistrate. They had to have probable cause that there was evidence of a crime and that it could be located there. And yet there's no hesitation in suggesting that they will do everything they can to protect Donald Trump, no matter what he's done. And in this case, this removal of these very highly classified code word documents to Mar-a-Lago is something that proves once again that Donald Trump believes he's above the law.
I just can't help but think if any other person did this, people would, on both sides of the aisle, would say that it is a very big deal and a serious problem. And we know when Hillary Clinton was alleged to have done what is alleged here, they made it a big fuss about it. I want to turn now to the topic of climate change. Last month, after Senator Joe Manchin initially tanked the Democrats' climate plan that was included in the Build Back Better package, you told the New York Times, quote, "It seems odd that Manchin would choose as his legacy to be the one who single-handedly doomed humanity." I mean, that is a quote. Now that the Senate has actually passed the compromise deal that Manchin helped strike a deal with Majority Leader Schumer, you tweeted, "Thank you, activists. Thank you, Democrats. And yes, even thank you, Senator Manchin." Give us some insight into what you think led Joe Manchin to negotiate, come to the table, and try to get something done on climate. Do you think it is the pressure from activists and fellow Democrats that helped get them to this point?
Well, I think, you know, the pressure of activists all along has meant that the president has really embraced this monumental bill that will create incentives to move the country towards clean energy, clean transportation, clean buildings. And that had an effect on Democrats across the board, I think, and including Joe Manchin. People tried sugar for a long time. I was expressing my frustration at the time that he suggested that he didn't want to move this bill before the August recess in that quote in the New York Times. But I'm glad he changed his mind. And I think with a lot of persuasion from people who convinced him that this would actually reduce inflation, reduce costs for people, reduce their energy costs, reduce their healthcare costs, he decided to go along with it, and I applaud him for doing it. You know, he It's not a perfect bill. He got some things that I would rather not see in the bill included as a result of his tough negotiations. But on balance, this is monumental. It will put the United States in the lead and on the path towards fulfilling our commitment to reduce emissions, as the president has pledged, by 50% by 2030. The bill itself can get us 2/3 of the way there. There's still more work to do. But, I think it took a lot of effort. I talked to Senator Manchin, who I've had a decent relationship with a number of times during the course of this legislation. And again, it seemed like he was just pushing it off. But then he finally came around. And I give credit to Senator Schumer for his tenacity and keeping him at the table and finally getting a bill that is, as I said, $370 billion. It'll transform the U.S. economy. It'll put people to work. It'll set up a cycle of innovation. And I meant what I said. Thank you, Senator Manchin, for finally going along with it.
You mentioned that it gets us 2/3 of the way there. What's the other third? Where do we still need to go in terms of climate policy to address the crisis? I mean, it's not a future crisis. If you look at headlines all around the world, the climate emergency is happening.
Absolutely. You see it here in the United States with the mega drought in the Southwest, the flooding in Kentucky. It's causing billions of dollars of damage. And that's being replicated all across the world. There's central China is 111 degrees 2 weeks ago. In Europe, you see this massive flooding. People with the least resources get hit the most by it. So it's here, it's now, it's real. But I think that what needs to continue to happen, what the president still needs to move forward on, is policies and regulations that will build on what's the investments that are in this bill to reduce emissions from power plants, to reduce methane emissions, and there are currently proposals to do that, to reduce and replace super polluting refrigerants. They're called hydrofluorocarbons, which have a profound effect on the atmosphere. So there's still a lot more work to do. The president has the ability to use his authorities on procurement to buy cleaner goods to move things forward. So the work's not done, but this is a absolutely giant step forward.
John Podesta, it's really great to see you. Thank you so much for being here and helping us understand what's in the bill, but also for the reaction to the breaking news with Trump's property in Florida. Please stay safe. Thanks again.